Thank you very much, Hawk. Let's take a look at this draft. Certainly both of these teams have had a fair share of oopsie daisy moments as we look into these first bans coming through. The Kai'Sa removed. We're not going to see the first pick here. We have seen a lot of first pick Rel before, and Tristana as well isn't quite banned just yet.
Yes, and I'm looking at red. Titan, of course, is not going to be playing the specialty Kai'Sa today, but the Tristana for the mid lane, for example, is still a very possible thing. Right now, what do red side ban? Do they ban Maokai or Rel? Because there is a... Okay, Rel is going to be the choice for them, because, come on, if you're red side, you need to have at least one of those champions removed from the game. And now Vivo Stars, of course, can take Maokai, and they're not going to be wasting any time. They're picking it for their team, and they have to be building around it now, because it's already a good setup for them.
Yeah, here we can see just how many power picks there are available on this patch right now. Both Tristana and LeBlanc, both unbanned, both potentially could be our matchup in the mid lane. And we'll see what they want to take down in the bot lane as well, with both Kai'Sa and Xayah removed by the side of VKS. Trigo, of course, can go back to the scalers like the Jinx that he has gone to in the past, but Red instead going for the Zeri. So Titan will be set up to be that late game clutch factor if it's needed.
It will be very much needed, because we don't know what Red are going to pick on top of that. I wonder if they're going to have any early game tools for themselves, or something like, you know, the usual Renekton top lane, for example. But if not, they need to be leaning very heavily onto the scaling on Titan. They need to put all of their eggs into the basket of Titan, because if they do, if they give him the gold and if they give him enough space, he is going to deliver back. But right now, I love what Red are doing with their second pick, because they're taking Poppy for themselves and they're removing Poppy from Vivo Stars. Vivo already have Maokai locked in for the jungler, most probably, unless it's going to be another crazy Maokai support game. But this is removing the possibility of things like Vi, for example, so a lot of lockdown for Zeri is already not available for VKS.
The Azir is the pick for mid lane for Grevthar. Normally we only see the blind Azirs coming out of Decado and House, these known Azir players, but Grevthar's going to take it up here. So Envy will have this final pick in the first rotation to maybe lock in one of those powerful picks like LeBlanc, like Tristana, something else to match up and punish him early on. As the Aatrox locked in for Gigo as well, I was wondering if this one would make its face known in that first rotation. FMB has been looking good on the bruisers, on the carries as of late, but Aatrox is a real tough nut to crack.
However, there is still really many things for the top lane available for Red still. Of course, there are going to be more bans, and of course, things like Rumble, for example, have already been banned out by Red themselves. But there are still things that can work. For example, Cannon is still available, and we have seen quite some successful games of Cannon going against Aatrox on the top lane.
Oh yeah, yeah, we saw that Furia game. We saw the Vital Cannon into I believe it was Gigo. It was Gigo's Aatrox, and that was the 19-minute win for Furia. So we'll see if that one is banned away by VKS if they want to try and protect Gigo a little bit in that top lane melee matchup, as the LeBlanc was locked in for Envy in the end. So they've got some good early and mid-game pressure with this LeBlanc to play around, the Poppy as well. Great early strength in both of those picks. They've got the Titan late-game condition locked up, so maybe something to get us there in the mid-game, and maybe some sort of powerful support, maybe an Engager or a CC for Frosty to round it out.
Yes, I want to see first year an Engager here, something like Nautilus. I want him to be the front lane for the team, and I want him to be the one starting the fights for everybody, because they already have a lot of burst, and they already have the tools to have very long fights. I want them to add something to the second part of it, because I feel like long fights for Red are going to be really good already with just the 3 picks that we see from them. But we're talking about the top lane potential for FNB, and look at that, both Renekton and Jax have already been removed, so I really wonder if that Yone is going to be their answer.
The drafts today have been pretty spicy, Solari. I don't know if we're going to say, oh my god, he's done it. Okay.
Oh my god.
So, is this going to be Yone top or LeBlanc top is my question. Because there have been LeBlanc tops played, and that could bully an Aatrox around a little bit.
LeBlanc top lane. I mean, I could see it happening, but is FNB really going to be playing LeBlanc top lane? I mean, it does feel a little bit off, but I mean, yeah, it's one of those games, I guess. And today is the day we've seen so much craziness already, like that Yumi hover that really got me worried there for some time for VKS. But fortunately, they decided to go into this Nautilus, also taking it away from Red, and also it's a really good lockdown for Zeri that we've been talking about. I'm really surprised that Red didn't decide to snatch it away with their previous Red pick.
We're seeing what the bot lane pick's going to be for Trigo. If he wants to go for scaling with something like the Jinx, or he wants to go for a kind of utility with the Ashe, but it's the Sivir in the end. So it is that hyper carry potential, a lot of wave clear there. The Sivir ult, of course, very helpful for people like Aatrox who want to get in range to keep those fights going. And it has been, the draft starting to widen, this kind of very rigid meta. There's plenty of power picks in there, but there's a lot of pockets being used as well. We didn't even touch on the Seraphine ban from Red just coming out of there. Maybe something from the Scrim data that we don't see too much on stage in normal games that aren't Furia trying to win in 14 minutes.
Maybe something from the bot lane of VKS, because otherwise Azure had been picked already by that moment, and I don't know what idea was behind her. But it's a good ban regardless. But even without her, I like what VKS have on their hands right now, because this is a lot of late game team fighting. Because if you look at it, their main carries want to be scaling a lot. Azure in the late game, we have already seen just how devastating he is for the enemies. Sivir in the late game is pretty much the same story. So for Red and for VKS right now, we have the perfect balance between the teams where both of them want and should be fighting late in the game as much as possible.
Talk to us about it, Hawk. What are your thoughts on this one? These slightly off-meta picks we've seen the last draft of the regular season. You think it's going to be a good one?
You know, Trajan, I think it definitely will be a good one. We've got some explosiveness in this draft, to be certain. Anytime you see a LeBlanc and a Yone on the same team. Look, I don't know when the CBLOL just decided that it was like Gold 4 solo queue time, but everybody's playing Yone today, and I'm so here for it. I mean, these players at least playing it a little bit better than Gold 4 solo queue. That's the important thing. I do feel like Vivo Cade, their composition, Solari already highlighted it. The team fighting on it is just so immense. I've got to see Red be able to generate a lead and convert in the mid-game.
Yeah, and that's not really been Red's wheelhouse so far, as the generating early leads. We've seen a lot of sloppiness in those early stages, honestly. Last game, the top side did have a great run, but we are still seeing missteps from Titan in the bot lane. You really don't want to see him giving up kills in the 2v2. Don't give the scaling AD carries even more gold to kick us off. But here we go. Last game of the split. On to the Rift we go. Red Canids versus Vivo Cade Stars. Let's get it.
And I'm looking at Red, you know, and I'm thinking, Red, are you going to give us another almost 40-minute game? Because that's been the narrative for them for quite many games that we've seen from Red recently. They go in for very long ones, even when they have a very strong lead, even if they're quote-unquote stomping through the enemy, they still make the game last for as long as possible. And I could see it happening for them again, because they have a lot of scaling, and the late game would benefit them quite a lot. But I really wonder how long this game can be. Just how long can Red drag a single game for?
To be honest, and the capability of VKS to drag games out as well with this comp is pretty high, with the Sivir and the Azir.
Yeah.
If you don't have Baron buff, they can kind of just sit in their base towers and clear waves forever. So we'll see if Red can... They have to find those engages. They have to find the good fights, draw VKS out to an objective. Otherwise, VKS could do a plenty amount of stalling on their own. As we'll see where the action is going to be in this early stage, right? I should hope it's around mid-jungle, but knowing Red, it's probably going to be in bot lane.
Yeah, most probably. As the earlier you get the items for Titan, the better it's going to be for Red, because again, they have to rely on Titan a lot. They usually rely on him quite a lot, because this guy tends to deliver quite nicely. But in this game, Zeri, you need to get her accelerated, and they have Poppy for their jungle. Come on, yeah. Poppy going into Sivir. Sivir doesn't really have any escapes whatsoever. She has a shield that she can prop, but if you catch her off shield, because the cooldowns are super high, especially early in the game, you can really punish her hard in the lane.
Yeah, you certainly can. Apt kind of layering of the headbutt pulverize on Frosty. There's a bit of like a game of chicken, and what are you going to spell shield in time? Can I just hold my pulverize? You spell shield early, I stay in place because of the headbutt, and now I'm here. There's a little bit of kind of layers and counterplays to be played in that matchup. But you need level 2 to make it work, as damage hooks in. The Ignite is already down, and Frosty has to flash away. The red bot lane struggles continue. Oh no, he's got level 2!
God.
Flashing from damage. Does he have the hook in time? Does Titan have the fingers to flash away? Damage doesn't want to risk hitting the tower and dragging himself into danger. But it's a nightmare for Red in the bot lane, man. The summoners already going off the board.
VKS have already secured a safe lane for themselves from the bot lane, because look at it, there is no flash on Alistar, which means his possibilities for engaging to the enemies are really, really limited right now, and Zeri doesn't have the ghost anymore, which means she's very punishable. Again, we talked about it very briefly today. Zeri has really tiny health bar, so if you catch her without the tools to disengage from the enemy, she might be dead.
Oh, we're diving top lane. A lovely flash from Gigo over the heroic charge, and Red don't even get any damage on him.
Yeah, he's just sleeper like that. You can't really catch Guigo on the top lane. But speaking of the guy, he needs to have as safe of top lane as possible, because Yone and Aether, oh my god, is he still there?
We're just gonna do it again. Oh, the Hex Factor
No
with the wall.
way.
Gigo, he's going to get pushed away from the tower, and there's a steadfast presence to stop him sliding away. FNB with the last few misses. Does he have enough with the flash? And it's the first blood. The Triumph keeps him alive, and they make it work in round 2.
No way! He had a flash! And he was so low in health. FNB was very low in health, and he had to invest a lot going into this kill, and it was pretty risky. But in the end, they got the first blood, and they got the first blood on Yone. And it was the perfect time to do it, because I had just started talking about how it is important for either of these top laners to get ahead, because both of them really just like playing from behind. For Azir, you know, it is fine, for example. He is like, yeah, I will still get to my items, and I'm still going to do unspeakable things to you in the late game. But for Aatrox and for Yone alike, they don't want to be in there. They want to be ahead, and now Yone already has a really good start, already has the completed boots. Ooh, damage.
Could be looking for another potential FNB carry moment, as there was yesterday. Titan not getting as much jungle attention early on. Going up to top side is Aegis, and making great use out of it with the repeat gank onto Gigo. And FNB going to be a menace in those later on fights. The fact that Aegis isn't going bot lane as well means that the fact that BKS, who lost their summoners kind of aggressively, at least in Damage's case, to make that play, they don't have to worry about the counter gank just yet. They keep their vision high, they should be able to hold on to an advantage.
The vision is extremely high, by the way, which is very good time because the Drake is coming up in 20 seconds. The first Drake of the game is going to be the Mountain one. Pretty nice one for the laning phase, especially for VKS spot lane, because they would really love to have this additional, even if it's a little bit, but still some protection from Red should they decide to go aggressive on them. And having Sivir in the bot lane with all the wave clear available to her, even pre any items, means that you can very easily push for the Prior on the bot lane and then accelerate it towards the Drake should you want to do so.
Ricochet is burning through this wave as usual. So much VKS vision in the bottom side river. You can see they've got the scuttle. They've got a lot of step up towards that mid lane as Gigo continues to get pressured by FNB. A Yone who's ahead using that Spirit Unbound is so slippery, so hard to get in return damage on, right? Because he gets the shield. He doesn't have to like get super up close. He doesn't have to go under tower. It's very pressurized in that Yone lane.
Yes, and right now for Aatrox in such a matchup, it's going to be really hard to get back, and solo, I'm not really seeing it, to be honest, unless he's going to be super lucky and super precise in his movements. Jungle help would be really nice there, but jungle is needed on the bot side right now, because the moment the Drake spawns, you can see Red already on him, already starting to take it, and Maokai doesn't have level 6. Oh, that is not a good time to go into the pit.
He's level 5 with the red buff, doesn't have the Nature's Grasp though, and Envy lost the flash, but didn't take any damage, and is threatening, zoning away the rest of Cade Stars. They'll give up the ghost. They'll leave this dragon for red. It is the opening mountain for our red side team. Nice little Hex Flash play though from Damage into that mid lane, just getting the flash away from Envy while he was expected to clear that wave.
Yes, actually, we haven't touched upon this, but this is a pretty important flash to take away. And with Azir still having the flash right now, he feels safe because the kill threat from LeBlanc with the flash still available for Azir is really low, and he can go aggressive on her. Should again the jungler decide to show up? This is all about Grell right now. Where will he decide to go? Does he want to help out the top lane a little bit because top lane is struggling? Does he want to try to accelerate the mid lane, try to use the fact that Envy is very flashless?
Yeah, so much. Oh, hang on a second. Gigo heading onto FNB has dropped the World Ender, pulls back the Infernal Change, and there's Grell right on time with level 6. Nature's Grasp is there. No flash on the Yone. Can they pull the dive? Fate Sealed gets him to safety. Ultimately, it's just ults traded. But FNB with no TP is going to lose out on some minions.
Ah, that was a very nicely sealed fade from Yoda. Very good timing, because would he have been caught on the other side of the turret, it could have been looking very different for VKS, but right now it is still Yona who is in a very good spot. Look at him, he's building up attack speed still for himself, making sure that he's still feeling really good on this lane, forcing Guigo to stay there, not being able to recall, because even despite this gank, even despite all this aggression, he still needs to stay back and clear out the minion waves.
Grell counter-jungling more or less in the face of Aegis there. FNB could come over, but they see him on the sapling, and Grell does not care. He's looking for the steal, takes it away with a Bramble Smash. Out comes the crab. Grell is dropping Aegis into a deep deficit. Massive CS lead, buffs being stolen. It's not the usual super gank-heavy active Grell, but it's great jungling from him so far.
That's something we need to talk about, yeah, because this is not the most usual pick that we see from Grell. He usually wants to be much more aggressive, he wants to be on the lanes constantly, but even with a very different pick that I have to say suits the team really well this time, he's still doing so much everywhere on the map. He's apart from the kill on the top lane that happened earlier because Aegis just refused to leave the top lane alone, every other time he has been where he needed to be.
FNB checking out this Herald will to make a play. They've got a potential dive though, 2v1, and out come the ultimates. Trigo with very little to do in response. Wonderfully executed by the red bot lane. They needed a bit more gold to play with, but return to that Grell point. This is a player that VKS have been living and dying by. He's so pivotal in positive and negative ways to VKS's games, but this looks like one of the heads flips, right? This is a positive game for Grell so far, and we hope he can get Reduce out of that Maokai, keep his team alive. Do the job later on in this game as Aegis is back in the top lane trying to ruin Guigo once again.
Oh my god. This guy is never letting Guigo alone, apparently. He has his priorities set very straight and clear in this game, and he is not... Oh, Guigo, he knows something. Look at the guy. He is not stepping into the trap. Lovely prepared for him. Or maybe... Oh, no!
The flash and the wallbang. FNB doesn't have a knockup prepared, and Guigo's the flash, plus the World Ender and Furlough Change as well. He can fight back. Drops a lot of damage in return, and Grell is ready to cover, but it was a close one for him.
Yes. If only he didn't have the ultimate, it would have been the kill confirmed. But well, he did have it. He still lives. He's still farming up, so it's nice. He survives the gank, making sure that Aegis is set up behind even further. Because look at the difference in CS. It keeps getting bigger and bigger because Grell is farming non-stop and Aegis is wasting a lot of time trying to set things up on the lanes that don't always work for him.
Drops the Herald into mid lane. Grefthar going to be the recipient of a bit of plate gold to keep him topped up over Envy. It's been a solidly even mid lane matchup thus far. Grell will split that gold with Envy. Trigo covering as well, making sure absolutely nothing goes wrong for Grefthar on this Azir. So these scaling carries are doing pretty decently. They should be hitting those spikes before too long.
Exactly. Everybody who needs to be scaling is scaling. Except for Percy, who has 1 kill on her, but one death. But everybody else is doing a very good job. We just sit back, they say, we relax, we farm up, and the moment we're finally farmed up, the moment there is a nice hat on the head of the Emperor streamer, for example, that is when we finally turn around and we go back onto the enemies. And I can't wait to see how these fights in the late game are going to look like, because both of these teams have really similar setups in the sense of how much scaling they have, like hard scaling that you can pretty much always rely on, and those fights could be really big. It all depends on who is going to be able to set up their team a little bit further right now, and so far Red have been ever so slightly but more successful than VKS.
Yeah, these team fights are going to be so sick, honestly, as Titan's going to walk slap bang into damage. May have to get over the wall if he has a chance, at least. Zeri will slide away, half the HP gone for that one. But we do have so many CC options for both sides. The great scaling CC, the skills, the kind of skill expression champions like LeBlanc and Yone coming out of red. These fights are going to bang, man. They're going to be sick as long as we get to that point. 5 seconds on the Dragon. Grell currently waiting for it, but doesn't have too many teammates nearby as the bot lane comes to join him.
He doesn't have, well, he has some teammates, and he also has the ultimate, and there's going to be, oh my god, Aegis, what are you doing?
He's busy in mid lane going for the flash, but another quick response from Grefthar keeps him alive as VKS will return to the objective.
But Flashless Azure needs to recall right now, and that means there is not any response possible from the mid lane of VKS to go onto the Drake. Oh, I am unhappy with the item he decided to go in. That's less damage. I mean, I understand he's going into LeBlanc. He needs a little bit more extra protection from her burst damage, but don't you want to be an extra aggressive Azure? Apparently not now.
Just going for another gank, gets the stun with the heroic charge with a Fate Sealed and FNB again. So low HP, but his jungler's always there.
How did he just rotate to the top lane so quickly? He was just on the mid lane getting out the flashes from everybody, and then all of a sudden we look at the top lane and he's already there having things done. Oh, Frosty, it was nice knowing you.
1 versus 3. Just got level 6 though. He just in time has the Unbreakable Will, and BKS go, hang on. This is about to go very badly for us. Let's just step away from that one. We will not get caught.
Yeah, maybe we don't really want steak for dinner tonight. So maybe it's better to wait out a little bit this one. But Grefthar is doing good job on the mid lane. Look at that. He's getting more gold into his pockets using the last minutes remaining of the turret plates. And finally, the Drake. The Drake hasn't been taken by now, but VKS are the ones who are at the Drake, still with the ultimate available of Maokai. But they're fighting. Do they want to fight Titan?
Commit the Nautilus ult that they got onto the Zeri. The Nature's Wrath is there. Titan dropping lower with the Ignite as well. Frosty trying to hold them down. Flash used by Zeri, but Alistar will not be allowed to escape. Sacrifices himself for Titan, and finally VKS can break the spot open.
And Titan was very lucky and very quickly to get away from all of that control thrown by VKS his way. Are they? No, it's fine. It's no turret type, okay. But Maokai and Nautilus are going to be the two things that we really will need to be looking out at in the team fights later on, because they can be the death of Zeri. If she gets caught by any of the control that they throw at her, she is done, because this is going to be a massive lockdown for her in a very immediate one. FNB.
Aggressive onto Gigo there with the help of the ganks onto that Kraken Slayer so early in this game. Suddenly the 1v1 trades are looking a lot better.
Not just a lot of better, they're looking winnable pretty much every single time. You can see just how much damage he dealt on the Guigo. Poor guy is drinking his pots right now, while FNB, full health, very happy about that fact. 38 seconds, by the way, before the Herald is going to be up. And unless something goes extremely wrong for Red right now, this Herald should be secured for them, because with such fry on the top lane, oh my god!
Oh, he's a crazy man, he's an absolute madman, and he's just done him under his own tower!
I don't even know what to say. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of the prio on the top lane, he has all of it right now, and that is not a good thing for VKS, because Yone is now a big problem for them much before they could have anticipated it. He's going to split push, he's going to kill anybody who goes and tries to stop him, and he's pretty much showcasing it to us right now.
This weekend has been crazy for FNB. He's popping off left, right, and center, showing us that they've got plenty carry still in the tank for Red Canids. We were talking about, you know, maybe can Loud show us new things? Can they show us new styles? Can Pain show us new styles? We're seeing the FNB top carry dream right now in this game.
And I love it that for the second day in a row already, he's playing, well, his composition, not this time a very all-in like they had yesterday, but he's still playing a very all-in champion, and feels like he's having a good time, or at least he should, because 3-0 Yono on the top lane is a very good start of the game for him and for his team as well.
Yeah, having the answer to that Aatrox certainly important going into future drafts. This champion's very strong in the meta right now, but FNB looks very comfortable with it. And again, we have to make clear, Aegis has been a big part of that. This has been back to old school Aegis, back to, you know, Red 2021 MSI Aegis, where he is everywhere on the map early on.
Oh, well, quite literally, he is absolutely everywhere. Right now, he's running around and has the Herald in his pockets. And even though he's still massively behind in CS compared to Grail, he doesn't seem to struggle because of it whatsoever. He's not playing a champion that necessarily needs to be ahead. Poppy is fine. You unlock level 6 for her, and after that, everything is going smoothly. You just hope for the items, and that's it. And even then, the items are really cheap. Oh my god, he's going for another kill.
For another one, commits the Fate Seals and needs to get enough damage down before he's dragged back to his body. It is just damage in the end, and Guigo get trades back kind of decently well. But you can see he's not even finished his first item yet. He's got to play in that long lane, desperately needs to get those items done.
Oh my god, he desperately needs to hit easily something.
Lovely
That's a good work there!
Onto Titan, he got nothing to do about that. No summoners to speak of. Frosty has to drop the Unspeakable Will just to get back to tower. VKS proactive again. Damage even throws another hook for good measure, but he has been affecting this mid lane a lot this game.
Oh, Grafthar, don't go in there.
Don't go around that corner. Grafthar is a monster in that cupboard. His name is Envy, as Aegis looking for another potential dive. The TP from Aatrox, a counter TP from Yone. So we'll get a bit messy down here. We could be looking for a big fight.
Lister is very far, but Aegis is hunting here. He hasn't been spotted by anybody just yet on the side of VKS. Going to be probably spotted on that control ward, but he's still looking for somebody to knock over the wall.
We needed to take the long way around. Keeper's Verdict is lovely. Gets Aatrox out of the picture, but he's still getting worked down by 3 members of VKS. And the red jungler will not be allowed to escape. In goes Frosty, another TP behind. Red are hard committing to this 4v5. This feels like a pretty risky maneuver, my guys. Lovely shuffle from Grefthar, pulls back Envy, and it's falling apart for Red. A terrible fight picked in the river has given VKS everything they need.
I can't believe it. They gave away the shutdown from FNB's head to VKS. They gave everything to VKS. This is horrible from Red, and unfortunately for them, Red had it coming. They pretty much set this up for themselves by themselves. Them going in, the idea with Aegis sitting so far away from everybody, kind of trying to outflank VKS is a good idea, but he shouldn't have gone in being so alone. Nobody from Red could react on time. Nobody could get in that pit on time, and with Maokai still having the ultimate, with Grefthar still having the ultimate, this was a death sentence for Red. And we have the replay. Look at poor Poppy. Look at how far everybody is. Everybody from Red is either still in their jungle or at the bot lane. Look at the minimap. Zeri is not anywhere to be seen, while VKS have everybody except for Azir. Everybody's just coming into the pit right now when Poppy is already very dead.
Look at Titan just walking through the river, nowhere near, nothing to offer here, and we're just hard committing into this pit from the side of Red, putting way too much stock in Envy and FNB to carry this fight. It's just not going to work, and the VKS fans in the audience, the adopted Pain fans as well, are licking their lips. They smell blood here. Just 4-1-2 on the Sivir, 1-0 on the Azir. These scaling carries are well off the ground for VKS already.
Oh yes, and everybody on the right side all of a sudden cannot compare to VKS, and especially to that Sivir, because yes, she is also sitting gaps on the Kraken side, but she is going to be getting through the next items very quickly, and for Red, it's going to be a problem because you already talked about all the wave clear available to Sivir, but we talked about it in a defense manner. Now let's talk about it offensively, because I mentioned the split push coming from FNB, for example. The split push coming from Vivo and Keystars right now is going to be a really tough thing for Red to match.
It is. It's really just tough for Red to find their way back in. They need to try and maybe look for these catches, but Envy not able to find so much on the LeBlanc so far. It's rare that we see LeBlanc make it through the bans, but VKS were well prepared. They had the answer, the blind even, in Azir, ready to deal with what Envy had to bring to the table. A lot of assistance by Damage rotating through to the mid lane. Grell always on hand to help out. And Grevdar's been set up super well in this game. A small lead for the Canids, but it is a lead nonetheless, with excellent scaling champions to play with.
And if they can just make sure they keep the lead and make sure it still increases, they are set up for a very good beginning of the game. That was very close damage. Okay, we take it. The Drake is coming up still, not anywhere soon, but they're fighting regardless.
The hook and the route onto Frosty forces an early Alistar ultimate. The tool's not going to be ready, and VKS getting very bold, stepping into this bot side jungle. And the lead from FNB, he's got 2 items done, including the Infinity Edge. He's very strong in the 1v1 still, but we're not seeing the impact from them anymore. VKS are so much more in control of the map.
He's strong, but he's just one person, and that is a problem for Red right now. Because as much as I said I don't like the Crown of the Shattered Queen as the mythic item for Azir, it is working because LeBlanc cannot do anything. She goes in, she sees what is happening at the Baron right now, and that is everything that Red needs. Can they stop it?
Aegis is already in position to look for a potential steal. Does have the Keeper's Verdict, so this is a good one to get Grell out of the picture. Maybe Trigo as well. Doesn't hit anybody. All 5 are going to be there. Damage smells blood, goes for the flash in. Aegis doesn't get away. Hard committal onto the VKS jungler. Envy does what he can, but Aegis is being bully circled out in that brush. VKS can turn right back to the Baron, this time with no threat of a smite.
There is still the Nature's Grasp available for Maokai, so Red cannot really fully commit onto the Baron. Plus, they're in the very important numbers disadvantage. No jungler on their side. Can they try to do something? Can they try to go for a steal?
Has to be a crazy Red clutch to keep them in this one. FNB has the ultimate to play with. Lovely knockup from Nautilus. Gigo on the flight eliminates Frosty straight away as Titan has to slide over the wall. Defensive fate sealed from FNB surely seals the fate of this Baron. Canids with no real contest to go over as FNB tries one more time. But it's Maokai who picks it up, and Canids now almost 4,000 is the gold lead. They're looking to find this win they so desperately want.
There is almost a philosophical issue for Red right now because they have so many carries on the team, and those carries have even been set up for the success in the beginning of the game. But while having carries, they're not having a team play for the carries because carries still need the setup, and carries need the team to be playing together for them to shine to the fullest. And Red are seriously lacking that, which is surprising considering again how well the previous games have been going for them. Yesterday's game was amazing. The games the previous week were pretty good for them as well, but today nothing is working for them. And I absolutely hate looking at Red going in and dying one after another, just one by one. No team play from them whatsoever, no team fighting whatsoever, while VKS are really consistent at how they meet Red, going right into them with how much damage and more importantly how much control they're throwing at them.
We wanted to see Red show us that they could be truly counted as one of our top teams, one of our title contenders. And those hopes are slipping away as we see these tough games, these tricky losses, these unfortunate early and mids stack up one after another. Whereas VKS, we kind of lost hope for this team already. We thought, well, how are they going to hang? They keep losing these early games, they're having really messy mid games. We don't know what they're doing with their drafts, and they're now coming up and punishing Red properly. All they need to do is secure this win, play with the lead they have built for themselves, show us they can close it out against the top team. We can maybe start considering them properly again in the playoffs picture.
Hey, maybe it's the buff that they received after the third game today, because they looked at the Fury and they're like, hey, they didn't manage to close it in 30 minutes, they didn't manage to make it into the playoffs. Now we have pretty much secured the playoffs, we don't really need to sweat in this game, so how about we relax and finally play to the fullest with no pressure on us? And whatever it is, maybe I'm completely wrong, but whatever it is working for VKS right now. They're 8-4. They have a really good gold lead. They're closing up to the dragon right now. The soul is really benefiting them considering they only have one dragon in their pocket so far. Damn it. Oh, that was close, but that is still important because look at the vision they're setting. Look at how aggressive they are at Fred's jungle. Red cannot even approach them.
Such great control by the Cade Stars, and we're always so baffled when we see this. Like, why don't you guys do this every time? Why is this only some games that we see this? As at least Gigo has been caught out by Red on the far side of the map. They'll find that kill in trade for the dragon, and it's not soul point at least for either side. But VKS are looking so comfortable here, so collected, showing us that they do have the skills and the talent that the names on this roster would suggest.
Hey, they're still using the Baron buff, and look at how nicely they use it. They're not able to scratch the base of the enemy still, but they are pushing regardless. And I love how much they're keeping Red in control and in check right now. Again, Red don't have any control of the map whatsoever right now, even despite the fact that they have FNB still sitting as a 4-1, still sitting on a lot of items, almost getting his third item completed. He's not able to apply as much map pressure as Yone is supposed to be applying, especially with so much lead he has been given in the early game. And VKS are using it to the fullest. They have their own carries. They have their own split pushers. They have a lot of wave clear on their hands. And I love how much they're threading through the map right now, knowing that it is hard for it to answer them at all fronts.
This might be a game where we need to see a CBLOL team actually execute a split push comp successfully, which is pretty rare, I'll be honest. It's not our forte, I'll say that. And Red are rapidly running out of options in the 5v5. They need to try and slow VKS down to draw their attention across the map. And they've got Yone, they've got LeBlanc. This should be what they're planning to do with this composition. We just got to see it actually work.
Wait, let me guess what is the forte of CBLOL. Team fighting. A lot of team fighting. Or
Crazy.
just fighting
You got
in
it in
general.
one. That's wild. That's amazing. That's clearly, after such a short time, you've identified the one thing that we're good
I
at.
have to say it wasn't very hard. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe next question.
Yeah, you know, we've watched
Yeah.
Loud, we've watched Pain, we've seen these teams
Yeah.
pull absolutely insane team fights, and it kind of speaks to that point that you'd said before, where these lower ranked teams are Dragons, and Frosty does not want to wait around to hear that point. It's the full engage from Red on this top side, but it's not looking very good. Titan's already gone down first. Damage is traded back, but they need to get more carries up the table for Red. FNB's working on it, but he's not under his tower, has to dive back to safety with the ultimate again. It's 1-for-1 overall.
I have been dying to talk about one very small fact. I already talked about how Titan has a very hard game on his shoulders right now because of the amount of control of VKS. The man is not running with the cleanse. The man is running with the Ghost, and the Ghost did save him once from the Nature's Grasp from Maokai on the bot lane, but every single other time he has been caught, he has been dead right after that immediately. He has no cleanse, his support doesn't have Mikael's Blessing, he has absolutely no way of getting out of any control. There is again a lot of control at VKS. Zeri against control, this is her biggest enemy. This is her nemesis and her kryptonite. And VKS are doing a smart thing by just not letting Titan play the game whatsoever. He is 1-1, but in every single fight he has so far been the focus of VKS.
Not letting him get those burst fires off, start scaling up that movement speed. This area will be a terror later on, but certainly far behind right now. Basically an entire item behind Trigo, as is Envy to Grefthar. The VKS carries are just so much stronger in inventory right now. Only FNB has that lead to play with. He's got the Hullbreaker, he's a menace in the side lane, but they kind of need him to help, or these team fights are going to keep going wrong. Damage wants to commit to him, wants the catch out. FNB drops the ultimate onto him. Out comes the Spirit of the Soul Unbound, but it's 1 versus 4. There's very little that the man can do, I'm only going to be honest, and Trigo gets another kill for himself.
Poor guy doesn't even get the chance to seal the Fate. The Fate has already been sealed for him. I love it. You mentioned the inventories of VKS. I love it what's happening there because there is going to be the hat very soon for Grefthar, and this is going to be the complete unlock for this champion immediately, and Red will not have any chance to stand all the damage that Azir is going to be throwing at them, but right now they need to do something because the Baron is going down very damn quickly.
And it's another 4 versus 5, but this time without their most fed member. Envy TP's back in. Aegis can't get the steal. It's lovely CC to lock him out of the pit. And Frosty will likely be dragged down with him as Gigo finds him. Flash over from Grell. Aegis serves himself up. It's just domination from VKS in the mid game.
I love it for VKS so much. For VKS and from VKS because... remember, I said they need to be really clean in their game today to win against Red. Oh my god, Titan!
Oh, Titan, all served up directly into the hook. It's just picture perfect from Grefthar and damage.
Oh, they're still fighting. Quicker, though, he's very low on health now.
Surely this is... Okay,
Ouch.
FNB, right. He's going to take that counter. He does a lot of damage. The man still hurts. We can give him this, but the 1 versus 5 is looking pretty difficult.
Yeah, exactly. He's just one man, and VKS already have everybody on their hands fed, and everybody is really ready to fight with Red right now. Or maybe not like that.
FNB goes in, tries to find those killers he's working on before. Gigo does go down. FNB removes the Aatrox from the equation, but can't save the mid inhibitor. It's something for Red, but they still continue to fall further behind as the Dragon spawns. Now with Gigo dead, they could have a 5 versus 4 if Titans quick off the fountain, but if Aegis gets caught, that's not going to be even a question. Again,
no.
the Poppy falls, and now there's no smite again. I don't know, does anyone else remember those t-shirts that Aegis was wearing, the anti-VKS t-shirts the last time they won? I really hope VKS have prepared something, because they have earned a bit of styling on Red after this win.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because there was a tiny window where Red could try to do something on the map. At least, you know, trying to get the ultimate out of Malachi and then see if they can approach the pit. Because as long as Grell has the ultimate, there is no way for Red. This is just the red light for them. But with having Aegis dead like that... no chance whatsoever, unfortunately for Red, because it has been yet another kill in their own jungle. They don't have control of any part of the map except for their own base right now. They're desperately trying to regain it, to do something about it, but there's so much vision available for VKS, and they are constantly walking through their jungle and just throwing control left and right. Oh, it's such a hard game for Red to play now. Not fun whatsoever.
Damage is an absolute fiend on this Nautilus today, man. These hooks have been so sick. 1, 1, and 11, catching so many members of Red. And it's exactly as you say, Solari. Full control of the jungle onto VKS. Another hook onto FNB, just to send him back to his body. Grell takes a bit of damage, but these Baron waves are devastating. Trigo's so safe to push. Malkail's committed. Envy is caught on the side, drops very, very low. The tower falls, the TP in, comes through, but it's only going to keep this wave shoving, marching towards the inevitable win. Step forward with Gigo, Titans down again. The critical Red clutch factor carry just cannot play the game today.
Man, Guigo is proving to us that you can play Aatrox from behind. It is extremely hard, and it takes a specific type of player to pull it off. But he's doing a lot of damage in the process, but my point still stands. He's playing exceptionally well, especially considering the circumstances, and everybody from VKS are desperate to push in.
FNB commits, goes golden for now, buys a bit more time, but won't be allowed to escape as Gigo, after being so put upon in the lane, finds the double on the top jungle of Red. Revenge tastes so sweet for VKS as they will end their season with a win, and the pain fans in the audience